Glad to have you join us on this edition of the show. Our guest is the presidential advisor on ICT, and he joins us to share some thoughts on some of the strategies government is putting in place to develop the tech sector. Our tech tips is on 3 ways to send files that are too large for emails. And also look out for our online security segment. We have much more lined up for you. But first, some tech news and updates. This is Tech Trends, and I'm Chukwemeka Agbata.
As part of the vision of the government to promote young tech entrepreneurs, the federal government, through the National Information Technology Development Agency, NITDA, chose 10 indigenous startups to join their peers from over 60 countries at the second edition of the GITEX Startup Global Movement, which was launched last year. Aminu Bakori is one of the startups that showcased a cloud operating system that helps improve access to computing in developing countries.
We streamlined the whole operating system layer for it to operate just like a normal web browser. And the reason why we did that was due to the fact that we understood the way computing is being done and the way computational power is being separated on the computer. So we understand that the browser requires low computational power, and that's the very reason why we built Cloudera on cloud technology. And apart from that, one of the major drivers of us building Cloudera on top of cloud technology is the fact that everybody is moving to the cloud. So we see a future where nobody will even take a computer and then move around. We see a future where you will attend a conference and then take up a device and it completely becomes yours from there. You get up from the device, it's no longer yours. So your computer is entirely in the cloud. It's no longer the fact that your documents are on the cloud. It's more or less like the whole operating system. The whole computer is on the cloud.
Another startup who is also working on ways to improve the agricultural sector is BeatsDrone. BeatsDrone is a UAV service provider that helps farmers eliminate death of crops before harvest.
We are focused on the agricultural sector because of the problem that is actually facing mankind. The United Nations estimates that about 1 billion people are hungry, and 36 million of those people will die this year. And this is because of scarcity of food and the unaffordability of food and so many other reasons. So tackling this, we had to go down to the grassroots, which is the farmers, looking for why they are not able to produce more foods to meet the local demand. And that's because of the traditional way of farming that they do. It's not working, and they are spending a whole lot of money, and it's not still working. So what we do is that we implement drones in the day-to-day activity of these farmers. We enable them to be able to achieve more, increase their harvest yield, and save costs. So from the early stage of planting, we carry out 3D mapping of their entire farmland to enable them to plan for the farming season. Then we also spray herbicides to kill weeds on their farm with our drones. We also spray pesticides, liquid fertilizers, and also nutrients to enable the plant to grow well. Then lastly, we also enable this. We also engage in health inspection to enable these farmers know the health status of their crop, because it's very important that they know the health status of their crop so that they don't die before harvest period. So putting all this in one basket, the farmer will be able to harvest 100% of his crops, increase its harvest yields, reduce cost of operation.
Word Monitor is a startup that seeks to build better connection with parents and children. The application allows children to be monitored by parents while they are in school.
A lot of parents spend their times on phones, on mobile phones, trying to get work done, try to do other activities and all of that. Now we came up with an idea to help bring information that kids and all the activities that exist within the classes and within the schools brought to the mobile phones. Now a lot of schools use WhatsApp and all of that, but are these things really functional? Are they really custom built? Are they really direct to the parents? So Word Monitor is a custom built solution that helps get progressive feedback from teachers, from school administrators, and sent directly to parents. Now this is the beauty. It's not just you having a smartphone and all of that. With Word Monitor, there's no need for data, no need for internet.
In the area of data management, Tatara is a mobile app that helps micro businesses to organize their records.
With Tatara, there's no more data loss because their data is stored in the cloud and can be accessible anytime, anywhere. Secondly, we are able to keep historical records that can be used for business intelligence. And thirdly, they have the opportunity of getting online because we provide an automatic website when they update their details. So currently, we've launched a version of Tatara that is going to be available for individuals and organizations. In the next 6 weeks, we're launching the mobile edition for micro enterprises, and that will be available as soon as it is launched. One of the things that we did to validate this idea is we conducted a survey of small businesses and realized that 99% of them still store their records on paper, while 81% indicated interest in using the mobile applications to store their record, and 68% already have a mobile app. So we believe that by the time this app is ready, it's going to be embraced.
Other startups like MyPadi, DropQ, MTK e-learning, Six, and Accountier also showcase their solutions. These startups emerged as country representatives for a highly competitive process anchored by the Office for ICT Innovation and Entrepreneurship, which is an arm of NITDA. Japan Sony Corporation unveiled a new robot dog called Aibo, a successor to its former popular robot dog with the same name that went defunct in 2005. The robotic man's best friend is 180 millimeters wide, 293 millimeters tall, equipped with organic light emitting diode lamps OLED in its eyes, and runs for about 2 hours after a full charge of 3 hours. It has 2 cameras that use facial recognition to identify its owner and 22 actuator motors for movement. Owners can also sync Aibo with a smartphone application called My Aibo, which allows them to play with the robot dog remotely. Sony's announcement came a day after its forecast record earnings, leading to a 9-year high in its share price. Hackers behind the NotPetya virus that hit Ukraine and spread around the world in June probably also designed malware called Bad Rabbit, used in a more recent strike. The Bad Rabbit attack mainly affected Russia, but also caused flight delays at Odessa airport in southern Ukraine and disrupted electronic payments in the Kyiv metro. A former director at Microsoft in Ukraine, Shimkiv, said more could have been done to mitigate Bad Rabbit if organizations had followed recommendations on how to deal with malware, including basics such as not clicking on suspicious messages.
What we start observing is that there is a strong belief that the NotPetya and Bad Rabbit being written by the same group due to the type of the code and approaches. We believe that there is a lot of remedies that could have been implemented by organizations to mitigate it. But we're also observing that many organizations that still do not follow the recommendation for the cybersecurity communities how to address the certain things.
Shimkiv's assessment corresponds with that of Russia-based cyber firm Group IB, who said that Bad Rabbit shared an important piece of code with NotPetya.
We also need to understand that in the cyber or underground market, the viruses are sold. So it could be that the NotPetya and Bad Rabbit was developed by the same group, but then utilized by the different groups. So we need to look at the situation in more complex. So it's quite difficult to put any attribution now.
However, experts caution that attributing cyber attacks is notoriously difficult, as hackers regularly use techniques to cover their tracks and sometimes deliberately mislead investigators about their identity.